Does the Christian God exist? Okay. You know what? Maganda po ang topic na ating i-discuss sa ngayon dahil ito po ay batay sa naging discussion ko noon sa isang so-called formidable atheist na nakaharap ko last time, which is Sensei Ilu, or what he called himself also in Facebook as Ilusion. So more than that, ang gagawin natin, i-explore natin ang kanyang arguments. Kung sound ba ang kanyang argument o hindi. So at this point, by God's grace, we will discuss the arguments that he presented there. Titingnan po natin mga kaibigan, mga kapatid, kung talaga nga ba na na-debunk niya ang existence ng Diyos. So at this point, by God's grace, alamin po natin, iisa-isahin po natin ito. So let's go to this one. In 1, 2, 3.
I'll begin.
Good afternoon, Debcon, and thank you for being here. Does the Christian God exist? Before I decapitate Zerubbabel's argumentations, devouring them into pieces like what the all-loving God in the Old Testament did with the newborn babies,
He really did that, although it's not.
let me clarify one thing. We are here to discuss the existence of God, not to deviate into mysticism.
Kasi alam niya na mababagsak yung kanyang pagka-mystic atheist pagka mamaya iisa-isahin natin yung mga questions dyan. Pero
Any attempt ni Sir Ruel na atakihin ang mysticism side ko is a red herring. It's fallacious
fallacious po yun, hindi po fallacious.
and will be met with a firm objection. And for those who do not know the burden of proof rule, the burden of proof lies with the one making the claim of existence, not with those who question or deny it. Failure to present compelling evidence that Christian God exists would mean Sir Ruel lost this debate.
Which is ironically, I did not lose the debate actually. Bakit? Malalaman niyo later. You know what, concerning the burden of proof na sinasabi niya, sabi niya kasi ganito, nakit sa mga atheists na iba. The burden of proof lies with Christians concerning the existence of God, not atheists. Pero guys, the burden of proof depends on the claim being made. Bagamat nag-assert ang isang Kristiyano concerning to the existence of God, atheists like him also make claims, either explicit or implicit. Kesyo magsabi man siya na I lack in belief in God or there is no God, still nagke-claim din po itong si Ilu. So, you see, both positions carry philosophical commitments that invite scrutiny. Halimbawa, ang isang atheist tulad niya, nagre-rely sa tinatawag na naturalism. Yung belief na tanging nag-exist lamang dito ay ang natural processes na dapat mabigyan ng justification. So, you see, why we Christians argue from evidence. You see, we Christians present various arguments for the existence of God, like cosmological, teleological, moral, ontological, you name it, appealing to evidence such as the fine-tuning, the origin of the universe, and moral intuition. So, Christians argue these phenomena are better explained by theism than atheism. So, itong counter-objection ko dito sa iyo, Mr. Ilu, at sa mga atheists na nakikinig sa atin ngayon. Atheism, particularly in its naturalistic form, must provide kayo, trabaho ninyo, mag-provide ng mga katibayan sa mga claims ninyo like, there's no God. Ganon. Like, everything can be explained without God, kumbaga. Kasi kung wala yan, and as you will see the entire video here right now, Ilu did not explain to me why he believed that God does not exist. Kasi without this, yan, atheism risks being merely a reaction to theism rather than a substantiated worldview. So, yan po ang ating challenge po sa kanya at maging sa mga kasamahan niya. Why do they think atheism really makes sense in reality? Why they think that there's no God? Yan ang trabaho na dapat nilang patunayan. So let's go to to the second one. Let's discuss.
Why am I an atheist? The answer is simple. Extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. The existence of the Christian God is an extraordinary claim. Yet there is no evidence to support it. None at all. Period. Christians have tried to misrepresent. The existence of the Christian God is an extraordinary claim. Yet there is no evidence to support it. None at all.
Ang assumption niya, bakit daw siya atheist? Then he quoted a certain slogan from Carl Sagan. Well, yung phrase na extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence is rhetorically appealing, but you know what? Logically imprecise. Bakit? You see, claims require evidence proportional to their content. Necessarily extraordinary evidence, so to speak. Theistic claims katulad ng existence of the first cause o yung necessary being na tinatawag align with philosophical reasoning and scientific evidence about the universe's origins. Like for example na lamang yung cosmological and teleological argument, so to speak. So, ito naman, if atheists like Sensei Ilu consider the universe's fine-tuning origin and the existence of consciousness quote-unquote ordinary, but take note, Ilu believed that the universe is not, that he believed that the universe is eternal. So yun, meron siyang burden of proof na patunayan dapat yan. But anyway, kayo mga atheists dyan, you must explain these phenomena without resorting to metaphysical assumptions like multiverse theories or brute facts, for example. Kasi kung talaga nga naman na yung sinasabi na extraordinary claim requires extraordinary evidence na sinasabi nyo lagi, eh mapupunta rin naman ito sa inyo pong worldview. Okay? Let's go to another one. Tingnan nyo po yung sinasabi niya. Listen.
Period. Christians have tried to misrepresent, and misdirect their so-called evidences, but it falls apart under a skeptic eye. Take, for example, the fossils of sea creatures on Mount Everest, which some Christians cite as proof of Noah's flood, is actual data pointing to plate tectonics, not the biblical flood. Consider this. The concept.
Okay, dito muna tayo doon sa sinabi niya na Christians continue to misrepresent, misuse, and misdirect evidence but fail under a skeptical eye. But here's the problem doon sa claims ni Ilu. Skeptical siya pagdating sa evidence for God's existence, pero hindi siya skeptical sa kanyang worldview. Hindi siya skeptical sa pagiging mystic atheist niya, for example. And by the way, skepticism cuts both ways. Yung claim na sinabi niya, inassume na Christians intentionally misrepresent evidence which is a baseless generalization. So yung kanyang claim ay isa lamang walang walang pundasyon na claim. Christianity's apologetic tradition thrives on rigorous debate and critical scrutiny, engaging skeptics like Bertrand Russell, Anthony Flew, and others. And by the way, mayroong si Senses na isa rin, I think, na kasamahan ni Sensei Ilu na pinopromote yung libro ni Bertrand Russell na Why I Am Not a Christian. Lord willing, i-review po natin yan. Anyway, you see, Christians argued using validated frameworks such as the following: historical data, philosophical reasoning. Like for example, the discussion that I had with one of his colleagues na si Will Die about the topic concerning to the resurrection of Jesus. Ano pong ginawa ni Will Die? He made a silly objection concerning Habermas's 2012 paper. Pero hindi binasa yung kabuuan ng papel. Naghanap lamang ng kapiranggot lamang na statement and said, sinong pipiliin niyo na pagkitawalaan? Si Habermas o si ako? Yung mga ganong mga trip na wala namang kinalaman doon. And then, because of this, I have a question to you, my dear atheist friends. Can you demonstrate that your skepticism consistently applies to all worldviews? Or is it selectively applied to Christianity? Kasi, guys, listen to this. Kung yung pagka-skeptic nyo ay laban lang sa Christianity, selective lang ang ginagawa mo, kaibigan. Kasi, ang argument mo ganito, Christians have to misrepresent, misuse, and misdirect evidence but fail under a skeptical eye. Sabi mo, Ilu, skeptic ka sa Christianity. Pero pagdating sa Buddhism and Hinduism, pati yakap mo pa yata. Kasi nga, you claim to be a mystic atheist. But when it comes to Christianity, wow. So let's go to another claim na sinabi niya. The concept of God existed for millennia but has no evidence. It is just a human psychology, a product of imagination. Let's listen to this claim.
God has existed for millennia since the dawn of man, yet no verifiable evidence of any deity, including the Christian
Not deity, but anyway.
God, has ever been found. Could it be that these gods are products of human psychology, not actual divine entities? For instance, why is there no mention of any snow god in the Philippines? The simplest explanation, as Occam's razor suggests, is that the lack of snow means no snow god was imagined by ancient Filipinos.
Ancient.
Similarly, the Christian God is merely a product of ancient Israelite psychology.
Ancient. Sorry for my voice, baka mapuna. But anyway,
If Sir
okay, dito muna tayo. So, ang argument niya, produkto lamang ito ng human psychology at imahinasyon ng mga tao ang konsepto ng Diyos. But you know what, my friends? The near universal belief in God or the transcendent across cultures and epochs suggests an innate, I-N-N-A-T-E, innate human intuition for the divine. And real talk lang, evolutionary psychology alone cannot explain this. Why would blind evolution consistently favor false beliefs? And then, ang daming ebidensya talaga na ang mga tao, despite of the different cultures, they believe in some sort of a higher power, a deity, a supreme being. Historical records, philosophical arguments tulad ng kay Aquinas and theology provide cumulative case for God's existence. So itong tanong ko sa'yo, if belief in God is dismissed as mere psychology, does atheism not suffer the same critic? And also, could atheism also be viewed as a psychological reaction to authority or morality? I'm hoping that you will answer that. Well, ito pa yung isa pang objection niya na parang ganito. Show any good evidence that ancient tribes in America, Asia, Africa knew the Christian God.
well disagrees, I challenge him to provide any documents, manuscripts from distant isolated tribes or communities, maybe in South America, showing knowledge of Yahweh in ancient times. I bet he won't find any.
Well, do you know what was called general revelation? Christian theology holds that God reveals himself universally through creation. Many indigenous tribes demonstrate belief in a supreme being or creator, aligning with the Christian understanding of God. So, even though hindi ito yung parang yung si Yahweh ng Hebrew Bible, so to speak, those people, yung mga indigenous tribes doon sa iba't ibang bahagi ng mundo, it sounds like they believe in a certain deity or a supreme being, so to speak, na tila baga nagpapatunay sa sinasabi ng Romans chapter 1 verse 20 and Psalm 19 verse 1 that God revealed himself through the effects of his creation. How about the special revelation in the gospel accounts? Well, while ancient tribes might not have explicitly known the name Jesus or Yeshua in Hebrew, Christian theology teaches that God's redemptive plan was fulfilled through Christ and proclaimed globally. And that's what happened today. Well, Christ himself said, go and make disciples of all nations. Di ba? So ito naman ang objection ko naman sa mga claims na ito. Does the lack of explicit knowledge among certain tribes disprove the existence of God? Kasi kung yan ang argument mo, how did you know that? The discovery of universal moral codes and religious intuitions among these tribes aligns with the Christian worldview, not in atheism. Next one.
How can we ever believe in the existence of an all-loving, all-knowing, all-powerful Christian God when the world is filled with suffering, in animal to human, diseases, wars, famine, and injustice? This is not an appeal to emotion.
So he appeals to emotion in some of his posts like, prayin niyo mukha niyo.
It is just that the attributes of the Christian God are nowhere to be seen.
Does he know it? You see, unahin natin to. Free will, moral evil. Christianity teaches that human free will is central to understanding suffering. But in atheism, it's just nonsense. Paano magkakaroon ng comfort ang isang tao na naapektuhan ng isang trahedya if atheism is true, so to speak? Also, moral evil arises from human choices, not the will of God. Madalas kasi nababasa ko yung mga ganyang mga points na sinasabi na ang Diyos ang dapat sisihin sa ganito, blah, 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 without even realizing the fact. Like for example, let's say flash floods, landslides, and yet those people say, ang Diyos ang may kagagawan doon, hindi niya tayo protektahan. Even though in reality, you know what is silly? Pagputol ng maraming punong kahoy, hindi man lamang napalitan ng bago by means of what? Pagtatanim ng mga bago na puno. O kaya yung pagtapon ng mga basura sa kung saan-saan, ano pat bumabara yung mga kanal dyan. And yet, they are saying that it is God's fault why disasters happened. By the way, concerning redemptive purposes, God uses suffering to bring about greater good, like spiritual growth, reliance on God. And the suffering of Christ on the cross exemplifies God's solidarity with human pain. Pero kamusta sa atheism? Is there any explanation on it? And how about logical versus emotional problem? So the logical problem of evil, which is claiming God's existence is incompatible with evil, has been largely resolved by philosophers like Craig, Alvin Plantinga. I don't know if Sensei Ilo and and his other colleagues already read that books or whatsoever. So homework ko yan sa inyo. Na-resolve na ito, who demonstrated that free will makes evil logically possible. So here's my question to you, my friends. How does atheism account for the existence of evil or suffering as objectively wrong? Because if there's no God, suffering is merely a brute fact devoid of ultimate meaning. May naalala ko ang sabi, wala raw kwenta yung pain and suffering. Oh, really? So anyway, let's continue. 3, 2, 1.
If such a God existed, the world would reflect his attributes, yet it doesn't.
Does he know it?
This reality aligns perfectly in an atheistic, purposeless universe compared to a universe where there is a divine creator. In Sir Wells' recent
Mag-stop muna tayo dyan. Sabi niya, reality only aligns with atheism. I still remember the discussion that I had with Vox Atheus, no? Which is very ironically, Vox did not even dare to explain to me why atheism makes sense in reality. Kasi sa discussion namin ni Ilu, he mentioned Vox Atheus sometime as if he wants to save Vox for this. Or I don't know. Ewan. But anyway, reality only aligns with atheism. But wait, Christianity provides a coherent explanation of reality's origins like creation ex nihilo, meaning, teleology, and morality, objective moral standards. And real talk lang mga kaibigan, kung mapapanood nyo po yung kanilang mga live, ang atheism in reality struggles to account for what? the universe existence, consciousness and rationality, and objective morality. So here is our question to him and to other atheists who are watching. Can atheism account for the universe's fine-tuning, moral objectivity, or the emergence of consciousness? If not, how does it claim exclusive alignment with reality? Or let me say why they think atheism best explains reality. So let's go to another one.
This reality aligns perfectly in an atheistic, purposeless universe compared to a universe where there is a divine creator.
Natin na ang totoo, hirap na hirap ang karamihan sa mga atheists na ipaliwanag kung bakit nagme-make sense sa reality ang kanilang worldview. Let's go to this one.
In Sir Ruel's recent debate with Box, he naively relied on the cosmological argument, which assumes the universe had a beginning. I don't know kung saang kuweba nagtatago si Sir Ruel to be not updated sa modern cosmology. Modern cosmology does not support the claim that the universe had a beginning. Even the notion of singularity is no more widely accepted. And you can refer to the 2018 article of Forbes wrote by an astrophysicist entitled "There Was No Big Bang Singularity."
Huh? No Big Bang singularity? You're kidding me? Ilu? Yung nabanggit mong paper, pakipasa sa akin, no? Kahit i-PM mo na lang ako. Para malaman ko kung totoo nga ba yan, yung interpretation mo, o kung naka-apekto ba yan sa issue if God does really exist or not. Kasi even if Big Bang theory is not true, still we have philosophical data na nagpapatunay that the universe had a beginning. And how about the second law of thermodynamics, kapatid? Cosmic, ano yun? Nakalimutan ko yung isa eh. Basta. Anyway, kasi ang kanyang argument ganito. Wait lang.
Even the 2019 Nobel Prize laureate cosmologist Jim Peebles stated, "It is unfortunate that one thinks of a beginning. We have no theory of such a thing as the beginning."
Ibig palang sabihin, nagkokontra-kontrahan din ng mga scientists when it comes on this. If the universe had a beginning or if the universe is eternal. But by the way, may mga scientists talaga na nag-argue talaga and they had good reasons, they had good evidence na may beginning talagang universe. So, ang tanong ko ngayon kay Sensei Ilu, saan niya napulot yung papel na yan? Nang i-critic natin. And by the way, nabasa ba niya yung isa sa mga libro ni Stephen Meyer na ang pamagat, Return to the God Hypothesis? Well then, you see, the Big Bang strongly indicates a finite beginning to space, time, and matter. While singularity models are debated, so ibig sabihin, yung sinabi niya na wala raw Big Bang singularity, is it still in a point of debate? So hindi pa ito masasabing parang, kasi patuloy pa rin ang discussion nila ukol dyan. So, yun lang sa argument ni Sensei Ilu, he thinks correct siya sa kanyang claim. Pero talagang wasak bang kalam?
Dun pa lang wasak na ang kalam.
Bakit? You see, while singularity models are debated, the BGV theorem states that any universe with an average rate of expansion must have a beginning. And then take note, my friends, merong sinabi dito si Sensei Ilu na sinabi niya na misinterpret ko raw si Alexander Vilenkin. Really? And by the way, concerning philosophical implications kasi, guys, even if the Big Bang were not the absolute beginning, contingency arguments point to the necessity of an uncaused cause. And since he claimed to be quote-unquote philosopher, kailangan alam niya po ang mga ganitong points. So here's my question to this. If the universe did not have a beginning, how do you address the problem of infinite regress? And what caused the universe if it exists contingently? I hope Mr. Sensei Ilo will answer this. So, pupunta naman po tayo ngayon sa kanyang sinabi na misquote ko raw si Alexander Valentin. Listen to this.
Referring to the misinterpretation of the Big Bang, Big Bang is no longer tied with the beginning of the universe.
By the way, even if his claim is true, it does not disprove the fact that the universe had a beginning. Do your homework, Sensei Ilo.
Panahon pa yan ni Daddy Lemaitre. Big Bang just talks about the expansion of the universe.
Frankly speaking, concerning expansion of the universe, actually it's also an evidence for the fact that the universe had a beginning. Kasi kung ang universe ay eternal, paano may papaliwanag yung tungkol sa expansion ng universe, so to speak?
Sir Ruel, just a friendly advice, you should keep up sa mga updates sa modern science para sa mga arguments mo para hindi ka mapag-iwanan.
Ikaw rin, Sensei Ilo. Sana ikaw rin. As I have told to a certain atheist now na block na ako sa TikTok, you must also to do your homework and educate yourself. Well then, let's go to the next one. Let's go.
Sir Ruel also arrogantly cited Alexander Belinken's interpretation of the Borde-Good-Belinken theorem, and here I quote, sabi niya dun sa debate niya kay Box.
Again, he tries to save Box Atheus once more. But do you think he really saved him for that? Listen.
Cosmologists can no longer hide in the possibility of past-eternal universe. They have to face the cosmic beginning. Yet, Alan Guth, a co-author of the BJB theorem, totally disagrees, stating, our theorem does not imply that the universe had a beginning. It just means that the universe cannot be expanding forever.
So what does it mean? Tama ba yung understanding ng sinabi ni Guth? Listen to this, my friends. Listen to this. Listen to
BJB theorem totally disagrees, stating,
nag-disagree si Guth kay Vilenkin dito. Listen.
Our theorem does not imply that the universe had a beginning.
Or else, was he accusing Guth and Vilenkin that they are contradicting themselves in their study? Is that what he was saying here?
It just means that the universe cannot be expanding forever.
The universe cannot be expanding forever. So parang lumalabas, ironically, it sounds like Sensei Ilo indirectly proved to us that the universe had a beginning as well. Quoting BJB theorem, wow.
The BJB theorem, which is also used by Dr. William Lane Craig, also has three major flaws.
Huh?
One, it does not discuss quantum gravity.
Quantum gravity?
Two, it does not argue against cyclic models.
Cyclic models na assumption ni Ilo to prove that the universe is eternal daw.
Three, the mathematical formulations of the BJB theorem are not precise as discussed in two separate peer-reviewed papers published last year and this year.
Can you give those papers to us? O kaya, yung link para kami na mag-download, Sensei Ilo.
You quote a lot of scientists in your previous debate. Sabi ni ganyan, sabi ni ganito, but it does not make your arguments convincing.
Not convincing sa'yo. Siyempre, meron ka ng presupposition dyan. May assumption ka na, there's no God. Ganyan. Right? Pero, my friend, subukan mo ngang aralin yung kabuuan ng arguments ko. O sa arguments ng iba pang mga Christians na nakadialogo mo. Kasi most of your arguments are just bagsak eh. By the way, i-clarify natin yung position ni Alexander Vilenkin, no? Alexander Vilenkin, a prominent cosmologist, yung cosmologist dito, hindi po yung tipong eksperto sa makeup na. Ang mga cosmologist kasi, sila yung mga eksperto may kinalaman saan? Sa pag-aaral ukol sa simula ng universe. By the way, Vilenkin has stated that the VGV or Borde-Guth-Vilenkin theorem demonstrates that any universe expanding on average cannot be eternal in the past and must have a beginning. Well, yung mga critics, ina-argue naman nila na misquote daw siya, gaya po ng inakusahan sa akin ni Ilu. Pero, klaro yung position niya dito eh. Ilu, sana napapakinggan mo. Hindi ko siya na-misquote. Hindi ko siya na-misrepresented. You even called me arrogant for this, which is an ad hominem. Wow. Malinaw ang sinabi ni Valenken that all the evidence we have says, kasama si Guth, kasama si Board, anong sabi nila? The universe had a beginning. So, anong implication na yun sa naturang study? The BGB theorem does not rely on speculative physics like quantum gravity. Nagbanggit pa ng quantum gravity, speculative physics na hindi naman sinama sa naturang theorem. But generalizes the impossibility of eternal past expansion. Kaya yung kinote ni Ilu kanina, na hindi kailanman magaganap yung pag-expand ng universe, actually, it even supports the case that I gave to prove that the universe had a beginning. It's also pointed out that that since the universe had a beginning, meron nagpasimula, may lumikha. So, you see, while speculative models attempt to bypass this conclusion, none are empirically verified. So, here's my question to you. Excuse me? If you reject the VGV theorem's implication, what alternative models have robust empirical support? And if the universe is past eternal, how do you address the philosophical problems of actual infinites? Remember the terms actual infinite. And I hope if you're watching this, Mr. Sensei Ilu, watch this video and answer this question. Okay? Let's go to another one. Ang kanyang claim dito, Kalam's nature is cause and effect, and cause happens in time. So the timelessness of God has contradiction. Parang ganun ang kanyang point. So listen to his claim here.
Without further justification, you have not proven anything by cherry-picking quotes online.
Di ba ginawa mo yun? Actually, you're not doing good job debunking the arguments that I presented in our discussion, and yet your followers went on to say, sinako na yan ni Ilu, sinako na ganito, sinako na yan. What joke is it? Can you do your homework again?
Nakatawang isipin when diehard Christian apologists like Seruel present the Kalam cosmological argument, they think they have proven God, not knowing what they have proven is a bullcrap contradiction.
Do you know that, Ilu?
Kalam's nature is causality, cause and effect. Cause and effect must always happen in time. If the Christian God is the cause of the universe, then he must first exist in time, totally contradicting the claim that God is timeless. Furthermore, if space-time is a property of the universe, then the concept of cause before the universe is meaningless. It is as stupid as asking, what is the south of the South Pole? What is the north of the North Pole? Seruel also uses the design argument.
Sabi niya, kontrahan daw yon sa pagiging timelessness ng Diyos, so to speak, or what. Pero obviously, he misunderstand the timelessness there. Bakit? Listen to the arguments in the Kalam. Point A, premise A. Everything that begins to exist has a cause. Point B, the universe began to exist, therefore, the universe has a cause. At sino yung cause na tinutukoy dyan? This cause, God, is described as timeless and spaceless because time and space began with the universe. And by the way, causation doesn't require temporal sequence in a metaphysical sense. For instance, ang decision ng Diyos, so to speak, na likhain ang universe could be simultaneous with its existence without requiring before and after. So obviously, dito pa lang sa claim na ito ni Ilu, He misunderstood what the Kalam cosmological really says there. And I tell you what, our brother in the Lord, Brother Thinker Tank PH, debunked most of the claims of Ilu there. Hanapin ko na lamang yung naging discussion nila before. Ika-critic din natin yan, Lord willing. So, ito naman ang objection ko naman sa'yo. How does atheism account for causation at the universe's origin where natural laws and temporal frameworks did not yet exist? How can you explain that? Paano? Let me know what you think. Okay, so ngayon, meron siyang ina-argue concerning the design argument or the argument for design. And then you will see how he misrepresented the said argument there. Listen to this.
Verse is meaningless. It is as stupid as asking,
Hindi
what is the
yan.
south of the South Pole? What is the north of the North Pole? Searle also uses the design argument, which is nothing more than flawed apologetics. Here's why. Our world is full of contrast, light and darkness, up and down, black and white, order and disorder. These contrasts are fucking undeniable.
Real talk, cause and effect kamo. Light and darkness. How can you explain that in atheistic worldview? Tingnan mo kasi, yung mga contrast na nabanggit mo ay hindi po nag-undermine sa design argument. Actually, pleasure and pain, order, disorder, yung mga contrast na yan, they often demonstrate a framework in which human beings can exercise free will, grow, and experience a full range of existence. So yung contrast na yan ay hindi po nag-undermine sa argument for design. Actually, I myself defended that 2 years ago. And concerning optimal design versus perfect design, you see, yung argument for design na yan, it does not claim perfection, but optimization for purpose. Like, yung condition ng Earth ay precisely fine-tuned for life. So, halatang na misrepresent ang ating kaibigan yung fine-tuning argument. So, itong tanong ko naman ngayon, if contrasts negate design, so to speak, how does naturalism account for the universe's fine-tuned parameters that allow for such contrasts to exist in harmony? Let me know what you think, my friend. And I hope you must have to answer that. Next one.
For something to be recognized as designed, there must exist something that is not designed. In an atheistic worldview, the borderline between designed and natural objects is clear. If I encounter an unfamiliar machine in a forest, I recognize it as designed because I contrast it with nature.
Which is ironically, mukhang nagpapatunay pa yan sa design argument. Not for atheism.
Which in my worldview isn't designed.
Not so much in your worldview.
However, in Searle's worldview, there's no such contrast.
Ha? Wala raw contrast? Seryoso ka?
Everything from man-made objects to nature down to subatomic particles, the whole cosmos is seen as designed, either by God or by humans. In Searle, Dito palang halatang na misrepresent din ni Ilu yung design argument dyan. Hindi natin sinabi na when it comes on the design argument, sinasabi perfection ba yun? No, it doesn't. We are talking about optimization for purpose, not perfection. So, Ilu again misrepresent the design argument. Perspective, the concept of design loses all meaning.
Not on the explanation of Christians, but for your claim.
It's like comparing white with white and claiming black doesn't exist.
We don't claim that. Red herring ka na naman. Here's another one.
Another fatal blow sa design argument is the not so intelligent argument. The Christian God as we know it is all intelligent, all powerful, all loving, all caring, with an imaginable IQ. First, He lovingly gave us an organ, namely the appendix, which causes thousands of deaths every year.
Without even realizing na may mga panibagong may panibagong studies concerning appendix na nakakatulong pala sa immune system.
Just in 2015 alone, almost 50,000 people reportedly died from appendicitis.
He blames God for this.
It's so funny that if you remove this intelligently designed organ, you could still live much longer because it does not reduce your lifespan.
FYI, Ilu. Concerning appendix, once considered vestigial, the appendix is now understood to play a role in immune function. Aralin mo. Available na po ngayon sa internet yan.
On the contrary, it can actually increase your lifespan by preventing the risk of appendicitis. Sa sobrang talino at bait ng Diyos ni Sir Ruel, hindi lang appendix ang binigay sa atin, binigyan tayo ng well-designed throat na kung saan both food and air goes and you can die from choking.
Ang problema sa claim mo, ganito lang yan. You're arguing na kapag ka may napapahamak daw dahil na may parang hindi makahinga dahil halimbawa kung kakain tapos nabulunan, Diyos ba may kasalanan doon? Really?
Sa sobrang talino at bait ng Diyos ni Sir Ruel, binigyan tayo ng immune system na ang tingin sa eyeballs natin ay foreign object that can result to severe blindness.
Lalo na pag hindi ka nag-iingat, lalo sa mga mata mo. So kasalanan naman daw ng Diyos ayon kay Sensei Ilu. Ay, naku.
Sa sobrang talino at bait ng Diyos ni Sir Ruel, He intelligently positioned yung retina natin invertedly, making us more prone to visual impairment such as nearsightedness.
Tapos sabihin, kasalanan naman daw ng Diyos. You serious? You know what? Similarly, criticisms of the retina, yung backward design, so to speak, fail to appreciate how it optimally performs in its environment. You claim that you know science better than me, right? Aralin mo ulit yung biology. Lalo yung mga updated studies concerning appendix and other things concerning anatomy. And by the way, Christianity is compatible with what was called theistic evolution. Let's take it for granted concerning sa mga kapatid natin kay Kristo na may stand concerning theistic evolution, okay? Which posits God as the ultimate designer who uses natural processes to achieve His purposes. So again, even if macroevolution is true or not, may mga purposes yan kung bakit may retina, may immune system, may appendix. And if you're claiming that na sa sobrang talino at bait ng Panginoon, ganito, ganyan, na mayroong ganito, na may nasasakal or whatever, don't blame God. Don't blame God here, my friend. Kasi in reality, may free will naman ng tao if they will take care their bodies or they will go on to abuse their bodies. Ang hirap kasi sa atin dito mga kapatid, mga kaibigan. Let's get a real talk here. Most of us, my friends, most of us blaming God because of a certain deed na in reality tayo pala ang may gawa. Lord, kung sana pinotektahan niyo po kami, hindi ganito eh. Excuse me? Binigyan tayo ng Panginoon ng wisdom. Like for example, pangangalaga sa kalikasan, pangangalaga sa ating pangatawan. And ngayon, nagka-cancer, tapos ang Diyos ang sisisihin. So here's my question to you, Sensei Ilu. If suboptimal design disproves intelligence, does this criterion apply to human-made systems which exhibit flaws but are undeniably designed, like motor, cellphone, laptop? Itong ginagamit ko, may flaws din tong mga to. So kung gagamitin ko mismo ang iyong sinasabi, then sa sobrang bait, sa sobrang talino ng mga ng mga inventor na ito, meron tayong ganitong gamit na at the end of the day mawawasak din. Double standards po yata yan, kaibigan. Wow. Next one, please.
All these defects can be explained by evolutionary process because evolution is not about attaining perfection. It is simply a mechanism for adaptation.
Yes. My friends, ang design argument, as we already point out, we are talking about optimization for purpose, not imperfection again. So, even if macroevolution is true, it does not disprove the existence of God after all.
These flaws cannot be reconciled in any way, shape, or form with the existence of the Christian God.
Real talk, it is based on his misunderstanding in the design argument. May nga ako nakitang comment doon sabi, maglatag ka ilo, but negation agad, 'di ba? Kasi ang kanyang trabaho sana, he must have to disprove the existence of the Christian God. But what he did in the entire presentation, he continues to blame God because of this, on that, and this, and that. And then his followers will tell me when I was in live before, oh, nasako ka nito, ganito. Guys, Kristiyano ka man, atheist man, or whatever, let's do our homework, my friends. Anyway, asan pa?
Kung talagang all-powerful, all-intelligent Christian God, not bound by the laws of nature, forces of nature such as gravity, distance ng Earth sa Sun would not be a problem for him. He could easily alter the laws of nature and make life exist even at the corona of the sun.
Which is another misunderstanding on God's sovereignty in the part of Ilu. Bakit? You see, purposeful design po ang issue dyan. Hindi po arbitrary design. The universe's laws of physics are finely tuned to allow in specific environments. Arbitrary life conditions such as life in the sun's corona na nabanggit ni Ilu would require entirely different constants again, undermining the coherence of the existing universe, so to speak. So, why assume that an omnipotent designer must create life under arbitrary conditions? Is this not a misunderstanding of purposeful design? Kasi batay sa buong argument niya, it's all about misunderstanding in the arguments for God's existence. Kaya nga, may punto yung sinabi doon sa isang comment na puro negation lamang ba ang ginawa ni Ilu? Alright? Next one.
The fact that life can only exist if the universe operates this way through naturalistic processes, entirely disproving the idea of an intelligent Christian God.
To his claim, with no evidence. You see, fine-tuning challenges naturalism. The fine-tuning of physical constants defies purely naturalistic explanations. Halimbawa, the odds of constants like gravitational force, cosmological constants, aligning to permit life are astronomically low. Also, concerning irreducible complexity, my friends, biological systems like the bacterial flagellum exhibit irreducible complexity, challenging the sufficiency of naturalism to explain life's origin. So ngayon, yamang nabanggit niya na tanging naturalism lamang daw ang may explanation concerning to the design of the universe, so to speak. So here's my question. How does it address the origins of the law and constants? Laws pala. How does it address the origin of the laws and constants that govern these processes? Paano po ma-address yan, kaibigan? Yan ang nais ko pong alamin sa'yo. So anyway, let's go to another one.
Since ang Bible ay hindi reliable as an evidence due to its numerous discrepancies full of contradictions. For example, paano namatay si Judas? Well, sa Matthew, unalive, sa Acts 1:18 nahulog pati warik. Sa Matthew, binalik yung pera, sa Acts 1:18 kinuha. Nope, hindi niya binalik yung pera at ibinili niya ng lupain. Those are just examples of contradictions. Anonymous ang mga
Okay, dito muna tayo. The Bible is not trustworthy because of numerous contradictions, errors, and inconsistencies. And ito, isa pang
binalik yung pera, sa
Listen.
Acts 1:18 kinuha. Nope, hindi niya binalik yung pera at ibinili niya ng lupain.
next.
Those are just examples of contradictions. Anonymous ang mga nagsulat ng Bible, the Gospels. Literally anonymous. Yung mga earliest manuscripts natin, wala silang title kung sino nagsulat. Mark, Matthew, Luke, and John. So dun pa lang, hindi na, you cannot trust na the Bible.
What a joke. Bakit? Unahin ko na muna yung tungkol doon sa sinasabing alleged contradictions sa sinasabi ni Ilu at ng iba pang mga atheists na ganun ang kanilang claim na paulit-ulit. Most supposed contradictions in the Bible arises from what? Misunderstandings of context, literary genres, or translation nuances. For example, differing gospel accounts complement one another rather than contradict. Bakit? You see, kung titingnan naman natin talaga yung gospel accounts as a whole, hindi po contradictory. Kung ihalimbawa na lamang yung tungkol sa the resurrection accounts sa Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, naalala ko nga ito yung ilan sa mga latag ng ibang mga atheists allegedly to disprove the resurrection. Like yung ginawa noon sa arguments ni You Will Die na isa sa mga kasamahan ni Ilu. Na unfortunately, hindi naman ito nagpatumba sa Christianity. Hindi naman ito nagpatumba sa pagiging reliable ng Biblia. Lalo na po pagka may kinalaman na ito sa historical data, so to speak. Also, concerning sa authorship ng mga Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, bagamat while the Gospels were formally anonymous, common in antiquity, early church testimony like kay Papias and Irenaeus affirms that Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John wrote those Gospels that attributed in their names. And by the way, my friends, para mayroon pa siyang
Scientifically, historically wrong ang Bible. As we all know, ang pinakahuling arsenal ni Sir
muna tayo. Sabi niya, hindi raw scientifically reliable daw ang Bible. Mind you, my friends, hindi man scientific textbook ang Biblia, pero nagko-communicate ito sa katotohanan tungkol sa Diyos at sa humanity. At yung mga scientific language, example given, poetic descriptions in Psalms, for example, should not be judged by modern empirical standards. And by the way, if he wants to discuss this, then I'm open for this. However, when I challenge him again concerning to the topic if the resurrection of Jesus really took place, si You Will Die o si Eddie Boy yung nag-replace. But anyway, so far, ito lamang yung ating objection sa kanyang claim dito. Ilu, can you demonstrate those so-called biblical contradictions undermine its theological message? And how does atheism account for the enduring impact of the Bible? Paano yun? Paano yun, my friend? And then, here's the last one na kanyang sinabi sa kanyang kabuuan ng arguments. Listen to this one.
John. So dun pa lang, hindi na, you cannot trust na the Bible. Scientifically, historically wrong ang Bible. As we all know, ang pinakahuling arsenal ni Sir Ruel ay tumakbo sa philosophy ng presupposition, where God is
which is in reality, maski man siya ay may presupposition that God does not exist. Kaso hindi niya napatunayan sa kabuuan ng discussion namin.
the necessary foundation of abstract immaterial things such as mind, morality, emotion, and logic. If the existence of morality, logic, emotion necessitate the existence of a foundational creator, and if God possesses these attributes, then God must also require a foundational creator. But of course, Christian God is eternal. He's already there. Then it follows that morality, logic, mind, emotion can be there without being created. If these abstract things can be there without being created, then the existence of these abstract things nowhere proves the existence of a foundational creator because they do not actually necessitate a foundational creator.
Really? Ilu? My friend, the God of the Bible is the source, not participant. You see, you really misrepresented what Christians really believe. God is the ultimate source of logic, morality, and mind, not a contingent participant in them. For example, in logic, God is the grounding for the laws of logic, which reflect His nature, unchanging and rational. How about morality? God is the standard of goodness, not subject to it. So what you did there is another textbook example of what was called category mistake fallacy. This objection that you presented here conflates created beings which require external sources with an uncreated being who is self-existent. Parang ipinipinpoint mo na if God is if the existence of logic, emotion, mind, and morality necessitate God, and if God possesses them, then he needs another God, which is nonsense. So here's my question to you once more for the last time. How does atheism ground logic, mind, and morality without invoking circular or arbitrary reasoning? This is what I want to know. Okay? So let's go to his conclusion.
Hence, the presupposition is already flawed. In conclusion, I have presented enough counter-arguments to show that the existence of the Christian God is not reasonable.
Diba, does the Christian God exist ang topic? He must have to prove that the Christian God does not exist. Hindi po namin topic na reasonable ba na manampalataya na may Diyos. Hindi yan ang aming topic, so red herring pa siya dito.
The Christian God is already dead, rotten, and buried.
Pero no, he's not dead. He is alive. He always lives, whether you like it or not.
And in this opening statement, I, Sensei Ilu, have already defiled all the argumentations supporting the existence of the Christian God, and I thank you.
Which is, in reality, he failed. He failed to present any good case against the existence of God. What he did is misrepresenting what Christians really believe. Ironically. And then, by the way, if ever that we will have another discussion, maybe next year, as he claimed before, pagbutihin niya yung kanyang sinasabi na pag-debunk daw sa Christian belief. Kasi sa totoo lang, he was not really doing his own job debunking what I truly believe. You know what? I'm praising the Lord because of this. Sa mga presenta nun ni Ilu, na-challenge talaga ang faith ko. But you know what? Imbes na mawasak ang pananampalataya ko sa Panginoon, nagkaroon ako ng pagkakataon, nagkaroon ako ng time to review what I believe. Reading books, aralin yung mga arguments once more. And by the way, mas lalo kong nakumbinsi sa Christianity, mas lalo kong napatunayan based on those arguments and evidence that God really exists, that Jesus had risen from the dead. And remember, my friends, if you still remember my review to the arguments of Eddie Boy, aka You Will Die, both You Will Die and Ilu never debunked the fact that God exists, that Jesus rose from the dead. So, you see, even if we will have another dialogue for this, I guess he will just go on to repeat those arguments once more. Well, that will be all, my friends. And Lord willing, Our next topic will be on responding and reacting the arguments of Vox Atheus. Doon sa topic na what best explains reality, atheism versus Christianity. And then, you know what, my friends? I was just thinking about this. Why are they presenting some negations without even presenting positive case for their worldview? Right? Well, that's all for now. And Lord willing, we will have another reaction video for this. Jesus is Lord. Have a great day. God bless. And by the way, my friends, I invite every single person who are watching this na aralin po ang mga statements at arguments ng parehong panig. And walang masama na aralin natin yung parehong panig eh. Even I myself, inaaral ko rin yung kanilang side. So much more, yun lang. Mas nakumbinsi lang talaga ako na totoo talagang Christianity. How about you, my friends? What if Christianity is true? Would you become a Christian? It's up to you who will decide.